Heads up 20 ups. It's Tuesday, and here we go, because I have a lot to say this week. Okay, Rima, good for you for not comparing things as much anymore. I still work on that really, really hard. To the extent where my roommates tell me that it's just entertaining when we watch a movie that I read the book for, and I just sit there and I'm just pretty much speechless as just sounds come out, and I clench and I flinch, and I'm like, but it's wrong, it's not right, and it's, yeah, I'm just not good at that whole not comparing books to movies or old versions to new versions and all of that. So I am working on not comparing quite so much. My computer is about to fall. I'm working on not comparing quite so much, but at the same time, it gives you a really strong sense of this is where your opinions are, and this is where what you feel is important to you, in terms of, like, I really like it when the cinematography is done this way. I really like it when the plot, like, follows a plot. Hey, what a concept! Those sorts of things. So, like, I do want to be more open, but I also don't. So, maybe that's why I haven't actually made much progress. Lucy, and apparently everyone else, I am apparently the only one who never took home ec. I actually took woodshop twice because I wanted to, not because I failed it. I just wanted to take it again and never took home ec. So, yeah, but I sew and cook and I can do all of that. It's something I learned at home, so I didn't take it in a class. I don't know. I mean, my school had home ec, but it's not something that I did. So, and then you're talking about your democratic system of picking up movies, which we always tried to do. This is how we developed the system. It was a big trial and error to do. I'm going to try doing it democratically, but because there are 4 of us, inevitably we were tied 2-2. Or it was always the same 3 against the other one. So my mother, in her wisdom, decided that this was our best method, was pick options and everyone else has to narrow it down. And it worked, and it still works. I don't think I could ever live with people where there's a different system of picking movies, because it's impossible. I live with 5 total, but 4 other girls right now, and all of us have very different movie tastes. So that whole having options to pick from, that's good. That's excellent. Craig, you were talking more about the comparing things, and I was thinking about it and how, like, you never really, like, you compared, kind of compared different types of card games, but didn't really. And I feel like it's a lot easier to compare things when there's the visual, component, or when we're reading things and, like, we're involved in this plot and this storyline. And I know that a lot of these card games have plots and storylines to them, but you can also kind of, like, those can change based on the game, so it's not the same plot, and therefore I would say that it's easier to not compare them. I also wanted to point out that the only card game I ever got into was Lord of the Rings card game, or as we preferred to call around our house, Water TCG. Don't know if anyone else ever played it, but we got really into that for like a couple of years. Didn't really get into anything else. So yeah, there's my geekiness shining through. James, you mentioned Homeward Bound, which is, like, I have completely forgotten that movie and had no idea how I forgot that movie, because I used to watch that all the frickin' time. It was amazing. I loved it. Yeah, I hope that you are feeling better by this point, since you've had, what, like 4 days to get better? You should be better by now. Totally be better by now. TJ, I really like the intro. Hopefully we've already seen it in this video. That's all I have to say there. I scrolled down too far. Going up, 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 up. There we go. Oh, and then driving playlists are awesome. I created a driving playlist a couple summers ago because I was traveling from my home to where I was going to school most weekends for various things, and decided that I had an hour-and-a-half car drive, well, really 3 if you put both of them together, every single weekend for a long period of time, and created this playlist that actually I'm going to pull up so I can tell you how many hours it is. I'm really good about creating a lot of different playlists and then keeping them very organized, so I get new music and I decide immediately what playlist it's going to go into, and I go through, and I'm a tad bit organizationally impaired, OCD, whatever you want to call it. Driving is currently 11 and a half hours long. So I could drive for a really long time and never hear the song twice. same song twice, which is awesome. I like it. 195 songs. I'm not even going to try and go through it. Actually, I do need to update it, though. I was listening to a playlist today that I had that was happiness or whatever, songs that are supposed to make me happy, and had to skip like the first 10 because they're also on my indulgent playlist, which is the one of like when I feel like indulging myself in listening to music that makes me super depressed. Yeah, I need to change that. It's not good when your indulgent stuff is on your happiness. It's also probably not good when you have 19.3 hours of indulgent depressing music and only 11 of happy, and clearly it's not all happy. I need to, yeah, editing needs to happen. Maybe that's a goal for this weekend. Okay, so I took the personality test, but it really irritates me because there wasn't any sometimes button, and I wanted a sometimes button, and then they sit there and I know that they're asking the same question like 4, 5, 6 times, but they're wording it differently because if you word it differently, they might give a different answer, and I always pick up on this, and then I always have to go back and I have to make sure that I answered it consistently the whole way through because I'm OCD like that and pick up on these things, and I know that it's not actually giving accurate results when I do that. And I've concluded that these are not accurate results. But anyway, I came up as an ISTJ with 67%, 1%, 1%, and 67%. So, on that note, I don't think anybody else had that much of a difference between them. They were all much closer together. I'm apparently extremes. Only most of my friends would not say that I'm in that extreme. They would say that I'm much more of a thinking person because I have multiple friends who tell me that I think too much because I overanalyze and it just goes crazy in my head. So, was there something else I want to say? Oh, so anyway, I think those results are crap, but that's what I got, so I took the test. And some of it is true, like the introvertedness is definitely there. Or judgment, I guess that's what the word is there, but I don't think it's as high as they said it was. Anyway, but everybody else was saying people, so apparently Lance Armstrong, Warren Buffett, Donald Rumsfeld, I know and I'm blanking on how that's pronounced, and Greta Garbo, apparently, 4, who are ISTJs, although I don't think I am an IST, well, maybe I'm an ISTJ, but I think that the percentages are significantly different than what it told me. There you go. And then James, you asked about the favorite place that we've been. And this one I had a lot of trouble thinking of because growing up we did a lot of road trips places, and so I have awesome memories from all these road trips, and like narrowing it down to one place is really freaking hard. And I didn't want to do it. But I concluded that we would take these road trips down to Cumberland Island, which is an island off the coast of Georgia. And we'd go with a number of other families, and you tent camp on this island. You take this ferry out, and you have to carry everything with you, and you have to take everything off the island, so all your trash and everything, there aren't trash cans on the island, you take it, and that's just a lot of fun. There was clamming on one side, so we'd ride bikes or hike up to this big old mud pit where you could go clamming, we'd go shrimping off of the docks, and just hang out and swim, and you could go looking for shark's teeth along the walkways and the beaches and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. So I have a lot of good memories from there. So I guess if I have to pick a favorite place, that would be it. But really, it's all of the vacations that I've done with my family have been awesome, and they're just the experience as a whole is what makes them awesome. So it's hard to pick a favorite place. Although I really, really, really want to go to Europe. I've never been, and I might be bringing that. I might be thinking of that too highly at this point because I've been wanting to go for so long, but I really want to go. Anyway, and then the other question this week that people were asking were, it came up, well, I don't think it was actually a question stage, but we decided to turn it into a question. I love it when we do that. Is parents censoring what you watched as kids? Unlike a lot of you, my parents censored a lot of what we watched as kids. A lot of people would say that my siblings and I were very sheltered as children. But going back, there's not a single movie that I'm like, oh, we shouldn't have been watching that, or oh, I wish that we'd been able to see that, or whatever. And a lot of the sheltering, I think, came from the fact that I am the oldest and my youngest sister is 6 years younger than I am. So when we watched movie and TVs, it was always as a family. Therefore, it had to be something that was appropriate for both a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old, which meant that it was G-rated for a very long time. My dad had this thing about making me watch movies that I really didn't want to watch because it was family movie night. But really, this was like after I was even watching R-rated movies, and it was movies that I knew that I didn't want to watch, but it's family movie night, so Danielle, you will come down and you will watch The Birds with us. But I don't want to watch The Birds. The Bird is on my never want to watch ever movie list, of which there aren't many movies on. But the ones that are on, I really don't want to see because they freak me out. I know that they will. He made me watch The Birds. It's okay. I'm over it. No, I'm not, but it's okay. It's a great movie. Freaking didn't have an ending. Anyway, Signs is up there with that one. He's made me watch that 3 times. I still jump. I know exactly when things are coming. I'm going to jump every time. Anyway, moving right along. So they wouldn't censor things, but we frequently had movies that my dad would rent, and we get home and we get about halfway through and my parents would be like, oh, we forgot about this scene. And then they were there to fast forward, which frequently meant that my dad forgot to fast forward and paused instead because, no one can actually work a remote correctly the first time they try. Or the 100th time they try. Especially when there are awkward sex scenes and you're watching it with your children. Yeah, pausing is always a better idea there. But, and I see the point, like the humor of the situations are being entertained. So like we watched the Pink Panther series really young, and I actually just watched a fair bit of one of those recently, caught it on TV. I was like, this is a lot. There's a lot more innuendo than I realized there was. It's been a long time since I'd watched them. We also watched the Naked Gun series, which has a lot in it, and I was slightly more aware of it at that point when we watched those. But regardless. So, anyway, I think that's all I've got to say. I like the idea of the schedule. Awesome. So, this week and then next week of whatever, and then we have a theme. And I like that because I'm getting ideas, and I'm like, how do I do these ideas without interrupting our whole flow and just, like, ignoring what everybody said? So, I like the schedule idea. Anyway, hope everybody has awesome weeks. I look forward to seeing you all. I will see Rima tomorrow. DFTVA.